April 1842. Conference Minutes. Special Conference of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, met according to appointment in the city of Nauvoo, April 6, 1842. The day being wet, the First Presidency did not attend, and Elder Page addressed those present upon the subject of the charges against him, and said he would be happy to have an opportunity of laying his statement before the conference at a convenient time. President William Law, General Bennett, President pro tempore, and President H. Smith all spoke on the subject of military affairs, showing the necessity of a well-organized and efficient force, that as we were bound to serve our country if required in common with all good citizens, we ought not to be behind any of our neighbors in point of good order, neat uniforms, and equipments of a well-organized and thoroughly disciplined legion. April 7. Conference met. President Joseph Smith had the several quorums put in order and seated. He then made some very appropriate remarks concerning the duties of the Church, the necessity of unity and of purpose in regard to the building of the houses, and the blessings connected with doing the will of God, and the inconsistency, folly, and danger of murmuring against the dispensations of Jehovah. He said that the principal object of the meeting was to bring the case of Elder Page before them, and that another object was to choose young men, and ordain them, and send them out to preach, that they may have an opportunity of proving themselves, and of enduring the tarring and feathering and such things as those of us who have gone before them have had to endure. Elder Page, having arrived, was called upon, and addressed the congregation in relation to the non-performance of his mission to Jerusalem. He said that when he started with Elder Hyde, joy filled their hearts, and they were aware of the responsibility of their mission. Elder Hyde's vision was that he should be in Jerusalem alone. E.P. considered Elder Hyde to be his father and guide in the mission, and felt it his duty to submit to Elder Hyde's opinion in all things. No elders ever were more in concert on a mission than they were while together. They made a covenant in Quincy to stand by each other while on the mission, that if they were insulted or imposed upon, they would stand by each other even unto death, and not separate, unless to go a few miles to preach a sermon, that all moneys should go into one purse, and it did so. Elder Hyde in Indiana first said that he would go to visit Brother Knight, and that Elder Page should stay and preach. He assented, and he went and returned to Indianapolis. Elder Page had a mare given to him on account of both. Elder Hyde then took the mare, went on, and left his luggage with Elder Page. While away, he sold the mare for $40, and received $60 more as a donation from a man to whom he sold the mare. He returned, then preached in Dayton, and received a handsome contribution. Elder Page preached 16 miles off, and raised a branch. Elder Hyde went to Cincinnati, revised the Missouri persecutions, got 2,000 copies printed, and paid for them, and took part of them with him, and left a large box full of about 150 loose copies with Elder Page. Elder Hyde started for Philadelphia, proposing to visit churches on the way. He left Elder Page $23.31. Elder Page returned to Dayton and Milton and sold books with the intention of following Elder Hyde as soon as practicable. But he stayed a day or two too long, and the river closed by the frost, from 1 to 2 weeks earlier than usual. Elder Hyde told him that it was possible that they might be from 1 to 2 years before they would leave America, as it would take upwards of $1,000 each to take them to Jerusalem and back, that it would be slow gleaning in England, and assigned this as a reason for not immediately following Elder Hyde, thinking that he would be sure of seeing him in the spring. Elder Page accused himself of not using better economy in proceeding on his journey. Came out a piece in the paper stating the displeasure of the Lord respecting Elder Hyde and Elder Page. He sat down and wrote a piece to put in the paper acknowledging the justice of the charge, but wisdom prevented its being published, preached about Washington, etc., gathered funds for the mission in Westchester and in Philadelphia. Elder Hyde raised funds on behalf of the mission by applauding Elder Page's talents, wisdom, etc., but they were disappointed in him when they saw him. He raised funds for the mission. The most liberal was in Philadelphia. He intended to sail on the 25th of July, but the brethren said that if he would remain 2 weeks, they would raise funds for him. They found that it would take longer, and he decided to stay a month. He then received a command through a letter from President H. Smith to an official character in Philadelphia, requesting him to return. He wrote to ascertain the reason, but did not get an answer. He was then called in by President J. Smith and Elder B. Young. Elder Hyde would often renew the covenant between them to never part with each other in that mission. Elder Page had no blame to attach to Elder Hyde. He supposed that he had done right, but if he had been in his place, he would have tarried for him until the spring. The reports of his having apostatized, etc., returned even from this place to New York. Many reproved him for leaving Cincinnati for Dayton. President J. Smith then arose and stated that it was wrong to make the covenant referred to by him, that it created a lack of confidence for two men to covenant, to reveal all acts of secrecy or otherwise to each other. And Elder Page showed a little grannyism. He said that no two men, when they agreed to go together, ought to separate, that the prophets of old would not, and quoted the circumstances of Elijah and Elisha, 3 Kings 32nd chapter, when about to go to Gilgal, also when about to go to Jericho and to Jordan, that Elisha could not get clear of Elijah, that he clung to his garment until he was taken to heaven, and that Elder Page should have stuck by Elder Hyde, and he might have gone to Jerusalem, that there is nothing very bad in it, but by experience let us profit. Again, the Lord made use of Elder Page as a scapegoat to procure funds for Elder Hyde. When Elder Hyde returns, we will reconsider the matter, and perhaps send them back to Jerusalem. We will fellowship Elder Page until Elder Hyde comes, and we will then weld them together and make them one. A vote was then put and carried that we hold Elder Page in full fellowship. Voted that Elder Page be sent to Pittsburgh. Sung a hymn. Adjourned for 1 hour and a half at 1 o'clock. Met agreeable to adjournment. Sung a hymn. Prayer by Elder Kimball. Elder White called to know if there were any present of the rough and weak things, who wish to be ordained, and go and preach, who have not been before ordained. Elder L. White then addressed those who had intended to be ordained on the subject of their duty and requirements to go preach. President H. Smith spoke concerning the elders who went forth to preach from Kirtland, and were afterwards called in for the washing and anointing of the dedication of the house, and those who go now will be called in also, when this temple is about to be dedicated, and will then be endowed to go forth with mighty power, having the same anointing, that all may go forth and have the same power, the first, second, and so on, of the 70s and all of those formerly ordained. This will be an important and beneficial mission, and not many years until those now sent will be called in again. He then spoke in contradiction of a report in circulation about Elder Kimball, B. Young, himself, and others of the 12, alleging that the sister had been shut up in a room for several days, and that they had endeavored to induce her to believe in having 2 wives. Also cautioned the sisters against going to the steamboats. President J. Smith spoke upon the subject of the stories respecting Elder Kimball and others, showing the folly and inconsistency of spending any time in conversing about such stories or hearkening to them, for there is no person that is acquainted with our principles that would believe such lies, except Sharp, the editor of the Warsaw Signal. Baptism for the dead and for the healing of the body must be in the font. Those coming into the church and those rebaptized may be done in the river. A box should be prepared for use of the font, that the clerk may be paid, and a book procured by the monies to be put therein by those baptized, the remainder to go to the use of the temple. Sung a hymn. Ordinations to take place tomorrow morning. Baptism in the font also. There were 275 ordained to the office of elder, under the hands of the 12 during the conference. April 8. Sung a hymn. Prayer by Elder Kimball. Sung a hymn. Elder Page then addressed the assembly upon several subjects, made many interesting remarks concerning being called to the ministry, labor in the vineyard, etc., spoke of his own travels and the fruits of his labors as an encouragement to the young elders who were going into the vineyard. President J. Smith said the baptisms would be attended to, also the ordinations. Sung a hymn. Elder John Taylor preached a sermon while the ordinations and baptisms were going on, the subject of infidelity, showing that the arguments used against the Bible were reasonably, scientifically, and philosophically false. The stand was occupied in the afternoon by Elder Amasa Lyman, and followed by Elder William Smith. Then the conference closed by benediction by President J. Smith. James Sloan, Clerk.